Production students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And so today, or this week, you did a great job in week 1. This week, week 2, we're going to be looking at chapter 2 from your production text. Hopefully you all enjoyed chapter 1. The thing about these upper level classes, some of this stuff is going to tie into your 101 classes. So your, for example, those of you that are also in, Principles of Management, those of you that have taken Business 101 or taken other business classes, you'll see a lot of the overlap, right? But this is a very honed in class that talks specific about operations. And so from chapter 1, and I know you'll see some technical stuff in there. I don't have any major technical problems like math problems yet from chapter 2, but we may get into a few. But I will give you the formulas and walk you through anything you need to know. Because really we do use, as you get into upper level classes, you do use quantification to figure out, the most efficient production numbers, right? And you do actually use a lot of statistics and things like that. But for this class, as a 200 level, we're going to keep it fairly simple. And chapter 2, you start to talk a little bit about the history, strategy, productivity, and the history behind, building processes. And so, strategic thinking, how do you measure productivity? And so you'll see it in chapter 2, you'll see some, they're somewhat qualitative, but they use qualitative terms and come up with a way to quantify those items. For example, productivity can be measured by effectiveness divided by efficiency, right? And coming up with, how to get your numbers, how to tweak your numbers just right and have that operations productivity goes along with profit maximization, right? You want to cut your expenses and you want to raise your sales. And so that's really how that profit driven is what productivity is about, right? And there's sweet spots in productivity that actually afford a company then profit maximization. So those are the driving forces kind of underlying productivity and, the driving force behind individuals like really honing their productivity to the best possible spot. All right, so looking through system-wide issues that affect productivity, global issues, right? We see that now relating to productivity. And so there are a lot of things relating to supply chain and securing natural resources, securing the resources that you need. Bureaucracy. So we start to talk about bureaucracy, an economic term, microeconomic term, price, demand, elasticity, and productivity. Talking about how pricing, right? Certain prices, we have price thresholds as consumers or as businesses that are buying from other businesses. And so you can't just raise the price depending on the type of marketplace that you're in. Raising the price may actually cut back on your sales. And so that can cut back on efficiency. And we're going to talk a little bit about things relating to improvements in productivity and operations management. Over the years, different theories and whatnot that have led individuals, led organizations to come up with better ways to either measure productivity or to affect productivity. And so you'll see that in chapter 4 or chapter 2, and a few things about quality control. And so thinking about then when you're working on the review questions for this chapter, which now I'm going to jump over to Blackboard and talk to you a little bit about what you'll see on Blackboard. And this is due Friday, 11/4 by 11:59 p.m. So you're going to want to read chapter 2 and from the textbook. And next I have a video for you. So after you read chapter 2, it's a Max Weber or Weber, is how we say it in the U.S., talking about bureaucracy. So he was quite influential, not only in psychology and sociology, but really talking about how organizations, he has a lot of organizational theories out there about what makes a good organization, what makes a not so good organization, right? From a structure standpoint and also from a productivity standpoint. So there's a video there on Max Weber, and I have the homework too up there. There's a few questions for you from chapter 2. Now, if you click on that, let's see, I have, how many questions do I have? I think 13 this week. 13 questions from chapter 2. You can write right on that doc and then send it to me. There's also a discussion this week for points. And I will be getting all your grades up there shortly. The discussion for this week has 2 parts. First, tell us a little about yourself and any experiences that you have had with operations or production management, even at a small level. Maybe you worked at a small store, and how did they restock the store, right? What were their processes? How did they keep the store clean? If you pop into like a country fair, for example, you'll see that there is maybe a checklist in the bathroom that someone comes in every hour and cleans the bathroom and then initials, right? That's how they keep the bathrooms clean. They have a checklist up and it says when they were in there checking the bathroom for, restocking paper towels or toilet paper, and that it was clean. And it says this person's name and it checked it, right? So they have a checklist right on the wall, which is part of, productivity is also, that's part of country fairs productivity, keeping things stocked, right? Keeping the bathrooms clean. That's all part of their operations. And so talk about yourself and any experiences. Maybe you've had experiences as a consumer. And give details. If you give us a detail, so we know your specific, it's unique to you, so we know the specific circumstance, right? And your specific experience. We can all learn from each other's experiences. And so if you have an experience, you can tell us a little about your background, and then you put that experience there and the result in there. Second, you're going to reflect on chapters 1 and 2 from the text. From a production management, I really like this text, but I'm curious how you feel about chapters 1 and 2. Include any agreement or disagreements you might have relating to productivity processes as explained in the text. So you're really giving me a little bit of a reflection or critique of chapters 1 and 2. So you're going to do this after you do chapter 2 work in this discussion board. Now, if you decide to post, and I have 2 to 3 sentences for each part, if you decide to post on anyone else's, right? You decide to reply to anyone else's post, just make sure that you use inclusive and respectful language, because we are all in this together, right? And, the things that we share in class and our discussion posts are really just for our class. They're, unless maybe there's a component that you like, but it's confidential for our class, essentially. So if you're writing things, just kind of know that it's a safe form. So hopefully you enjoy that. And from a discussion post. So all of those things are due for this week. As always, if you have questions for me, you can reach out to me via text, reach out to me 814-490-6473, or reach out to me via email, crobertson@ec3pa.org. And if I don't see you before Monday, have a good Halloween. Happy Halloween for those of you that celebrate it. And I will circle back around with you here in a few days to make sure everyone is moving forward. Again, I will get your grades up there and keep that moving forward here shortly. But I hope you're having a wonderful first week. And we are now into week 2 of the course.